One of the very curious things about economics is how many people in the world of economics and in the world of politics subscribe to the point of view that interest rate rises harm the economy and that interest rate cuts are good for the economy. Very few people come out and say this in so many words, but a hell of a lot of economists will imply that. In a sense, the logic is easy to see. You have a mortgage, you pay money every month to your mortgage lender. If interest rates go up, you have to pay more money to your mortgage lender, and so you have less money to spend in the high street. And the high street suffers as a result. But wait a minute, what if you're a tenant and you pay rent to a landlord? If the landlord puts up the rent, you have to pay more money to the landlord, and so you have less money to spend in the high street, and presumably the high street will suffer from that also. And yet I never hear economists or politicians arguing about whether or not private landlords should cut their rents. Maybe the answer is that interest rates are just an easy target. You see, if I'm a tenant and I pay more money to my landlord in rent, that money doesn't disappear. It's still in the economy. The landlord has that money to spend on whatever he or she wants to spend the money on. And that will have some impact on the economy. But if I pay more money in interest rates to my mortgage lender, that money goes somewhere. It is still in the economy. And it must have some impact. Some of it, I presume, is paid out in higher interest rates to savers. The rest of it, I'm not sure about. But the point is, it does not just evaporate. It is still in the economy somewhere. And it's still having an effect on the economy. But I think a lot of people just don't really get that. They just see money you pay in interest rates as being money that somehow vanishes. It doesn't vanish, and there's really no particular reason to think that interest rate cuts will be good for the economy or that increases will be bad for the economy. I'm certainly not aware of any real statistical evidence for it. You might be able to find statistical evidence in one country over a period of a few years, but that's not good enough. To be really certain about this, you need evidence from many countries, not just one, and not just over a period of a few years, but over a period of many decades. Interest rates go up, economy does not do well. Interest rates go down, economy prospers, and so on. But does that correlation exist anywhere in the world over a period of decades? I'm not aware of that. So when any politician or economist tells you or implies that interest rate cuts are naturally good for the economy and that interest rate rises are somehow inherently bad for the economy, then ask yourself if that person really knows what they're talking about.